This is the Galaxy S25 Ultra, a phone that was hated before arrival due to how similar it is to previous models. Despite all of that, I'm going to be reviewing this phone based on my real-world experience with it and not solely based on how similar it is to its older siblings. Let's get into it. The first thing I'll start with is the software experience. The S25 Ultra features One UI 7, which to me is mostly a visual update over One UI 6. It's still one of the best versions of Android because of all the features it has and the deep customization you can find in Good Lock. The user interface is smooth and fast with nice animations, and the depth of Samsung software runs deep with little features everywhere, like for example the way you can play audio from a Bluetooth device and still play audio from the built-in speakers at the same time. Essentially, I can listen to music in my earphones while playing a video out loud for my daughter. Other things I love are the easy and smooth multitasking capabilities. Aside from every single app working in split screen and pop-up windows on Samsung devices, you can easily access those modes with gestures. 2 finger swipes from the bottom for a split screen, or even a 1 finger swipe to do the same thing through Good Lock with one-hand operations. You have the edge panel for quick access to apps that you put there, where you can drag and drop into a floating window or a split screen, and you can also set it to tap, so when you tap an app it will quickly enter a split screen as well. And then additionally, you can also drag from a notification into a floating window or a split screen as well. The way Samsung handles floating windows and split screen is, in my experience, the smoothest and the best. I've used OnePlus flagships like the OnePlus Open or the OnePlus 13. I've used the Honor Magic V3, both Google Foldables, Nothing phones, and more, yet none of those beat Samsung when it comes to multitasking in my opinion. Samsung just works with every single app like I said, and it's the smoothest and the most flexible in terms of the resizing and the different layouts you can do in split screen and floating windows. Samsung's own apps and widgets are nice to look at and use. Personally, I uninstall or disable all Google counterparts and just use the Samsung apps if I can, because they often offer more features and have better layouts to me. Plus, the experience is more consistent with One UI overall because a lot of the apps are intertwined within the software. An example of this is how Samsung's Music app and Reminders app both have integrations within the edge panel for quick access. The Now bar is a new feature that is reminiscent of the Dynamic Island. It can give you quick updates for sports games or allow you to access your media controls. It also gives you briefings at different points of the day, like what the weather is like or what's next on your calendar. But at the moment, it kind of suffers a similar fate to the Dynamic Island on iPhones. It's not supported by many apps, and I don't know if it will ever be mass adopted, because when you look at the Dynamic Island, it's been about 3 years since it came out and it's still pretty limited in terms of what apps it works with and what it can do. So imagine this feature on one of the many Android phones that developers are already developing for. Anyways, I like the ability to control media and see NBA game scores on my always on display without waking up the display and actually using my phone. But to conclude on the software, from the many different home screen setups you can have, the folders in your app drawer, the S Pen for signing documents or editing photos, to the lag-free and refined experience, One UI is a pleasure to use.